Alright guys, this is a long playing review for Guerrilla War on the Amstrad CPC, and yep, it's yet another arcade conversion from Imagine Software. And just so you're not left in any doubt, they've slapped the arcade cabinet right huge in the middle of the picture there. So yeah, coin up, coin up, coin up. But it's quite a curious little game this. Well, first of all, it's kind of a clone of Ikari Warriors, which is also from SNK. And as you can see there on the arcade cabinet, they've got like this sort of twin rotating joysticks, like Ikari Warriors had. So SNK pretty much, wanted to get another Ikari Warriors type game out there, and this is the results. And it's kind of based on Che Guevara, bizarrely. And yeah, plays very, very similar to Ikari Warriors. And you're basically you're on some like unknown island, and you've got to like basically kill the dictators taking over the island and rescue the people of the island and hostages. And there he is, Che Guevara. Actually, the arcade version in Japan, the original release, was actually called Guevara anyway. But I think SNK, fearing like sort of anti-communist stuff in America, rebranded this as Guerrilla War and took out references to Che Guevara and stuff. But as you can see there, the sprite still looks, well, I think it's exactly the same as the Japanese version. And yeah, you got to rescue the hostages there, and there's various weapon pickups. I've got a rocket launcher there. And yeah, we can have a second player in this game, of course. And look who it is. We just rotate him around. It's Fidel Castro. So we got Che Guevara and Fidel Castro in a run and gun shoot 'em up. Yeah, very bizarre. And there's also tanks in the game that you can climb in and shoot and run over people with. So anyway, that's the arcade version, just a quick sample off so we can compare it to the Amstrad conversion. So here it is loading up, and it's got a nice little loading screen. Hail the heroes. And here we are on the title screen. Now, first of all, some excellent music from Jonathan Dunn here. He did obviously a lot of great music and a lot of Ocean and other Imagine games as well. And at the very end of the video, I've left the music playing in full, so that'll be like the last sort of 5-10 minutes of the video. So if you want to enjoy that, do so later on. And it's a 1 or 2 player game. And just before, actually after I complete this and before I leave the music playing, I'll give a brief sort of demonstration of 2-player simultaneous actioning. But yeah, okay, so from Imagine Software in 1988, Code and Graphics, Sentient Software. Don't know much about them, but they did the excellent Winter games, and they also did the Match Day conversion as well from Ocean. So that wasn't too successful though, the Amstrad version of that. But anyway, let's start up. Now, first thing to mention is the controls in this game. Now, we get the option of a rotate mode or normal mode. And basically with rotate mode, you've got 2 separate keys to rotate your character around. So pay attention there, guys. We've got grenade, A key, then S and D to rotate left and right, and using a joystick as well. So you do need to use rotate mode if you want to complete this game, or make it easier for yourself. But I think it would have been quite impossible on a real computer, on a real Amstrad, with a joystick suckered to your desktop and one hand on the keyboard doing rotates. But actually, the benefit of emulators, it's a lot easier. So here we go, starting off. Really, really colourful graphics, but very, very blocky and messy, I have to say. I still do like them. I like them colourful and chunky, as you know. And as you can see so far, guys, it's a lot sedater pace than the arcade version, and the layout's very, very different. So yeah, it's not going to be an arcade perfect conversion. That blue flashing square picked up is a kind of a rocket launcher weapon, and there's a hostage to rescue. and you really need to be careful and do rescue them, because not only does it replenish your ammo, but gives you a good score boost. And the more points you get, the more lives you get. And by God, guys, at the end of this game, on the final boss battle, you do need lots and lots of lives. And yeah, I've pretty much done this game without losing a life right up into the final boss battle, which is against the fortress where the dictator is. Now there's a tank you can climb into, but it's pretty much useless here, because you can't actually get through that narrow gap just below where that hostage is, or captive. So we're going to ignore the tank for now. Don't worry, guys. I'm going to get in one later. There's another weapon pickup there. I think that's the flamethrower weapon, which is the best weapon to have in the game by far. Although it's really awkward against boss battles. We'll come on to that in a minute when we actually reach a boss. And as you can see, the flamethrower weapon causes mass devastation, destruction. Just basically flies through everything in its path, which is great. Well, there's no music in game, but the sound effects are pretty decent. There's an enemy tank who just blown up. You can only blow them up with your grenades. Now the key to this game, guys, is not to just rush through it. I mean, given like the source material, the arcade original, and you know, Ikari Warriors and Commando and games of that ilk, you just want to run through and blast away as quick, you know, shoot everything in sight really quickly. No, in this version of Guerrilla Wars, it really pays for you to take your time and make sort of slow progress and sort of utter your way up the screen. Move too quickly and lots of enemies will come on the screen, so just take your time. It's a bit messy there with the sort of the floor in sort of oranges and yellows. Not the best graphics in the world. Okay, we're going to leave that weapon pickup because that's a rocket launcher and we're better off with the flamethrower. And if we rescue that captive there, we get our ammo replenished. We can use as much up as possible to clear the way, and then we'll go back and rescue him. Yeah, those are trenches there. I don't think they actually shield you from bullets or anything like that, so might as well just avoid them or run through them. Just be careful not to kill the hostages at the that appear at the top of the screen. Very easy to shoot and kill them. And I'm just yeah, taking my time there. Oh, I like how the bridge sort of blows up with your flamethrower weapon. Well, of course, if you're in a tank and you blow up a bridge, then you can't cross the well, you can't cross it anymore. Well, here's a tank. Thankfully, you can't blow it up with your own weapons, unlike Ikari Warriors, where that would happen. Just going to clear the way a little bit, and then we're going to hop in the tank. And there we go. So you can see that we now got a fuel gauge to the right hand side of the screen, just above my lives and below my ammo. And that can be replenished by picking... Oh, hang on a second. Here's the first boss battle against a helicopter. Now within seconds we've been hit, so you can jump out the tank very quickly before it blows up. And don't think you can jump back in the tank there, you'll die instantly, rather strangely. But just stay where I am, and then you can shoot the helicopter. Now for some strange reason, the weapons, whether you've got a rocket launcher, flamethrower, or even a normal gun, they all cause the same amount of damage. It's about the number of hits you get on the bosses before they blow up. So I could get 30 rocket launchers against him, or 30 flamethrowers, or you know, roughly about double that in normal bullets, and it still takes ages to blow them up. But normally you can find a position like I did. Oh, that's a nice little screen there of the map. Normally you can find a position against a boss and just sort of stand there and not get shot, or move to another location quickly. Yeah, just got to blow these up with the grenades and we can move on. So this is level 2. Oh, lovely, there's a flamethrower weapon to pick up there. Just watch out for that hostage we've got to rescue. Now enemies can appear from anywhere around you. Occasionally they sort of like dash across from the left and right of the screen, right where you are, and often get a really cheap kill against you, which is a bit annoying. But it's only happens about 2 or 3 times in the game. Okay, let's hop in the tank again. It's actually quite useful here. But literally 1 bullet needs to hit your tank and it will start to explode, which is really crap. And you also can't run over anyone in the tank either. If you try and run over anyone, forget it. It'll blow up rather strangely. Although I've just noticed that I did actually get sort of hit by a grenade, so perhaps it's impervious to grenade attacks, I don't know. As you see, I just got shot there with a bullet and gave the warning noise to jump out, so I had to there. Oh well. That kind of zaps a little bit of the fun out of the game of, like, you know, jumping in a tank and running over people like you could in the arcade original and in our Ikari Warriors. But yeah, it's not well, this is not a massively long in length long play. Really, roughly, there's about sort of 20 minutes worth of gameplay footage. If we take off all the intro stuff I did with the you know, the arcade version and the samples of the 2-player action and music at the end of the video, so 20 minutes worth. It's about 5 levels, and level 5 is quite short. Now we're just taking our time in this section here. There's a flamethrower guy up to the top left there, so we've got to be quick because he's also got a flamethrower like us, so he's really dangerous. There's also a guy just across the bridge, but also a hostage to rescue, so we're just going to run him over so we don't accidentally kill the hostage. And I'm trying to, I've done this as well, guys, of rescuing all the hostages that I've come across without killing any of them, just for completion's sakes. Now we've had no choice there but to pick up the rocket launcher weapon, which means we can't get those guys on the roofs there unless we use our grenades. So there is a bit of strategy and placement involved in this game, and timing. Ooh, see there, guys, those guys that ran across me there? That occasionally occurs and often gets a cheap kill against you, as I mentioned earlier. That was quite annoying. I think you start off with 3 lives. But there's no continue, so once you've lost all your lives, it's game over. That's another rocket launcher pick up there, that flashing blue square. There you go. Rather tight little street and alleyway to get through here. Well, it's not really an alleyway, but quite a narrow street. So just take your time with that and use your grenades. Now I think we've got to watch what happens here, guys, to that hostage. As we move up, he gets run over. Way, that's nasty. This is one of the hardest bosses actually, but if you're really quick and get lots of hits on him at the start, he's a goner. But as he's moving across there, he would have pretty much obliterated me with his rockets he's firing, and I would have lost a life. So you have to be really quick. So on to level 3, destroy the coal mine. Thankfully your weapons carry over to the next level, which is handy. Now the controls are fairly responsive. It's not the most responsive game ever, but it does the job okay. The scrolling isn't particularly smooth, but it's passable scrolling. Yeah, it's not running at a great frame rate really, but at least we've got sort of multi-directional scrolling on the go. We haven't got some kind of like flip screen nonsense, which would have been stupid. Now a bit of a river section on this level to start off with, which is pretty cool. As you can see, it's sort of half submerged, so that's a nice little touch. Now usually there's sometimes a hostage on that bridge there, but he didn't appear that time, and we certainly didn't shoot him. Now enemies usually sort of appear in the same places and patterns and stuff, so you can roughly predict when things are going to occur. Sorry. So I got pretty good at this game by sort of mapping out sort of key locations of where enemies are going to appear, and hostages and things like that, and other tanks and enemies and things, and where there's like sort of ambushes of where those guys sort of run across you. So that's helped me get through this. Now the first time I played this game, I really didn't like it. I really didn't like this conversion at all, because like I mentioned earlier, I just sort of started off in the game, just ran off and started blasting away, and you know, pretty swiftly I'd lost all my lives. Oh, there's a bit of an ambush there, a bit naughty. And I got bored pretty quickly of it. When I kind of realised if you just take your time and, you know, use the rotate mode to your advantage, then I actually quite enjoyed this actually. Now playing it in normal mode without the rotate keys, basically you move in 8 directions, but say if you wanted to sort of change where your gun's pointing, it would mean you sort of move in that direction by 1 step, which often can be quite fatal. So I really didn't like playing in normal mode. I found it far too difficult, which is a shame. But I do wonder how this would have fared on a real Amstrad CPC and not via emulation in terms of controls. Because thinking about it, if you're going to have, let's say you got your joystick in your right hand, you're going to need a joystick with very strong sucker cups to stick to the desk and stay there, whilst you sort of move and shoot with the fire button on your joystick, and then have like 3 fingers on the keys on your keyboard for rotating left and right and using your grenade. I wonder how I would have fared with that. Perhaps not as well as I'm doing here, I suspect. And I think that's probably going to have to lose a lot of marks for it. I mean, later on when we have to choose the keyboard for player 2, and if you choose rotate mode, it's absolutely ridiculous, because there's what's it going to be, about sort of 8 keys you're going to need to be sort of close to pressing all the time. It's ridiculous. Oh, here's the next boss battle against a train. Very easy to beat, I found out later on. Just go to the top of the screen, because he's always flying down and diagonally downwards, so you can just pretty much stay there. You get lots of hits on him. And he's a goner. Liberation near. Overthrow the capital. So, right, okay. On to level 4. And thankfully, because we finished the level in the tank, that carries over, which is a nice touch, and we start off in the tank. Brilliant. Now if you get a weapon pickup in a tank, I believe it replenishes your fuel. Yes it does, which is nice. And awesome, we've got the flamethrower weapon. I guess really the tank's only useful for giving you sort of like, I don't know, 1 shield. You know, you're allowed 1 hit and then you can jump out the tank. But it's a bit cumbersome and can't get through certain gaps and places. Like, we're stuck here now because you can't destroy those mines ahead of us, so we're going to have to jump out the tank anyway. Oh, and by the way, I think one hit from the flamethrower weapon on the tank and it instantly blows up and kills you. Oh, out of fuel as well. Quickly jump out and make our way onwards. So we've reached the capital now and in the streets. Just position myself to get rid of those two guys. And yeah, you don't have to move too quickly. As I say, you can see the feet there just at the top of the screen, and you can position yourself and kill them with the flamethrower weapon. So a bit of a handy tip there. Now they start appearing from below you now. Oh, we just got a bonus life there. I think you get a bonus life at 10,000 points, I believe. So yeah, not bad overall. I'm thinking about review scores now. I think I'm going to give this, guys, a 7 out of 10. I'll tell you now. It only just nudges a 7 out of 10. I think it's going to lose a lot of marks for the sort of... Well, the controls... at least they've implemented an option of rotate or normal mode, but they really needed to redefine keys. Now at Crossroads here, guys, there's a weapon pickup, and that weapon is a rocket launcher. I'll come back to review score in a second. I could either have continued on with the flamethrower weapon and got through these this street a lot easier and quicker. But then I would suffer with the flamethrower weapon against the boss battle that's coming up in a short while. So it's a choice of, do you want to get through the street quicker with a flamethrower weapon and suffer in the boss battle and take ages to kill him, because it's you can only fire one bullet at a time with the flamethrower, or use the rockets here. And we've got to be really careful, because all the bad guys we meet from this section onwards have all got basically flamethrowers or grenades, and come across tanks. So I went with the rocket launcher here, which is more effective in the boss battle, but it's made my life a lot tougher, especially this section here, because there's 3 flamethrower guys there, and that was really tough to get by. But yeah, it just nudges a 7 out of 10 from me, I think. Only just. It really could have done with a redefine keys option. I don't know why the programmers made you stick with the default keys. Because I've played this using the arrow keys on the keyboard, which are nicely sort of grouped together for your right hand and right fingers. Like your third finger can just rest over the up and down keys rather nicely. And then of course the rotate keys are S and D, which are next to each other on the keyboard to your left, with the A button to shoot your grenade, and then the fire button I've got as like left control. So that's how I got through this game with the controls. I don't think I would have been able to cope with it on the real Amstrad. I'm not sure. So maybe I should mark this lower, but I don't know. I kind of like it. It's a run and gun shoot 'em up, but with a bit of strategy and thinking about your placement and taking your time. I quite enjoyed this. I would have been quite happy buying this on budget, which incidentally, even though it's Imagine and Ocean software, they never have bothered to release this on the budget Hit Squad label for some reason. I don't know why. Perhaps it didn't sell well enough. Now this is a tough boss battle, but we saved the rocket launcher weapon and quickly got rid of him. So on to the final level, capture the palace and defeat the king. Now it's pretty short, this level, and it's got a ridiculous end battle. We'll see it shortly. Well, I'll tell you now. Basically, the end boss battle is you're basically fighting against the gun turrets of the palace. You don't actually fight against the king, which is a bit of a shame, because in the arcade regional, the final boss battle against the king is rather humorous actually. He sort of runs around the screen with like various guards sort of circled around him, and if you don't shoot him enough or quick enough, he like sticks his middle finger up at you. You can see it on a YouTube video somewhere actually. That's quite a funny little touch in the arcade original, but on the Amstrad version the king or dictator doesn't appear, sadly. Oh well. So no middle fingers being stuck up at us. But yeah, ridiculous battle against the palace. It's 4 gun turrets, and you can only hit them with grenades. Now pay attention to this level, guys. There's no tank to jump in, there's no weapon pickups, there's no hostages to rescue. So we're stuck with our normal machine gun and grenades. So make a mental note of that when we get to the temple, which is very shortly. Just got to get through this tank and then the jeep from the previous level. So there's some previous boss appears. Actually, those tanks are pretty easy to get rid of. They don't shoot you that often. And here's the jeep again. But he just moves up and down and fires in 3 directions. So if you stand there, he can't hit you. So here we go, guys. Right, the final battle against the temple and its gun emplacements. Now, you can only hit them with a grenade, and you can only do it as far up as possible so the grenade actually reaches it. But the guns are firing so constantly and so quickly, it doesn't matter if you sort of move left and right, you've got no chance to get a grenade off without being hit and losing a life. So the only way to do this game, guys, is to build up your life, don't lose a life, and just while you're temporarily invulnerable after losing a life, get your grenades in and position yourself just in between the 2 turrets you're attacking, and it will count as a hit on 2 turrets at a time, like so. Gosh, what, we've already lost 3 or 4 lives already? I mean, even with 2 turrets left, it's still ridiculous. So I've just blasted away and used a few lives here. What the hell? Actually, yeah, you should lose marks of this, really. I mean, oh, well, that's the temple destroyed. That's the game completed. The country is liberated from the king's domination. The leader is promoted to general in recognition of his great service. Well, we get some nice little ending music, which is better than just a text screen. And then onto the high score table, which, by the way, guys, doesn't actually ever appear. It only appears when you actually when it's game over or you completed the game. So well, that's the only time you get to see your scores, rather bizarrely. Normally a title screen would flick between the main titles and the high score table, but it doesn't. Oh well, so that's Guerrilla War completed. Maybe I'll downgrade this to a 6.5 out of 10. Not sure. Oh, I'm always generous. 7 out of 10. Anyway, I'm going to show you a little bit of quick footage of the 2-player simultaneous action on the go. And pay attention in a second to the keys you have to use for the second player if he's using keyboard and rotate mode. Okay, so player 2, choose the keyboard. I'm going to choose rotate mode. Now just have a look at your, here's the keys. O, K, U, I, and rotate is Y and P. That's basically the top row of the keyboard plus the K key to move down. Just place your fingers over the keyboard now, guys, and imagine trying to play this. And again, like shoot is M and B. I mean, it's just ridiculous. It's like the worst control scheme I've ever seen. God, you guys, programmers, just give us a goddamn redefine keys option. But that is just ridiculous and completely unplayable like that. Oh, but nice little music there just before you start a game, actually. But it's nice we've got sort of 3 different pieces of music in the game. And there we go, guys, 2-player simultaneous action. The sprites are identical, so they don't change colour or anything, and Fidel Castro doesn't appear as a second player like in the arcade original, but works just as well. There's no slowdown in the game, which is good with 2 players. There's just going to be sort of harder to accumulate lives, and you know, one player is going to be without a special weapon. And of course you've got to catch up with each other before the screen scrolls, like so. And I was just wondering here if you can actually kill each other with your grenades and bullets. You can't. But there you go, guys. Anyway, thanks for watching. That's me done. I'm going to leave you to enjoy the music on the title screen. So, cheers and goodbye.